It's the Great Podcast Show. Great topics, and we giving you.
All right, y'all welcome back to the YoungDeeTs, the Great Podcast Show. Welcome back, Jonathan Brown. Y'all doing warm. Welcome, round of applause.
How y'all doing?
All right. So, man, how you been doing, man?
I've been doing great, man.
Yes, sir.
You know, I can't complain, man. I don't want to.
Right. There's no reason to complain. We up, we here, we doing this. So we're going to jump right into it, man. The mindset stuck in a box. A lot of y'all is stuck out here, so let's jump into it, man.
Your mindset is one of the biggest things that control whether you stay in one spot or whether you go forward.
Right.
Your mindset is the way you think.
Right.
The key word in mindset is the word set. You're set in something, you're stuck in something. And when you are inside of a box, everything that you believe is inside that box. So everything outside that box, you have no knowledge of.
Exactly.
Because you only have knowledge of what's inside your box. You have no future. Your past, you're stuck in your past because your future is not in the box. Your future is outside the box. You know, Dee's, I tell people sometimes, you know, it's like being inside a box. It's like being in a house. What's outside that door? Because you ain't gonna never open.
Right. And to me, it's like these niggas is stuck in Christopher Columbus days when he thought he discovered America and he tried to convince everybody that the earth was square. So you can only go so far and you will fall off. And a lot of people are scared to fall and they're scared to fail because when them two things occur, that brings success. The world is round, the world is big, and a lot of people don't even know where Long Beach is.
And that's because they are stuck in wherever they are, wherever they grew up, that's it. Anything outside their boundaries, they're scared of it. Fear, a lot of people has failed because of fear.
Right.
Afraid to allow change in your life. See, the change in your life is outside the box.
Mm-hmm.
You wonder why relationships fail. You wonder why you have a hard time meeting that quote-unquote Mr. Right or Miss Right. Why? Because you're stuck inside this box where all your conditions are.
Mm-hmm.
You see, you can't see outside that box. No matter how, you can get on your toes, you know, you can grab it. You know, it's almost like a crab in a bucket.
Exactly. And not only that, you know, relationships fail, businesses fail as well.
And that's a good one. A lot of people start businesses and they stay stuck in what they believe gonna work.
Right.
And they refuse to change.
Right.
But I will always let a person know that change comes with change of mind.
Exactly.
And you can't expect change and keep doing the same thing. Because guess what? You're going to get the same results.
Exactly. Me, for instance. Okay? I'm going to take me, for instance. People wonder and ask, well, how did you do this? And how are you being successful at it? And, you know, I've been giving game to a lot of cats out here, man. Male and female. You know what I mean? And like I said, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. You know what I mean? We don't intend to be perfect because God is the only thing that's perfect. It's the only source of power that is perfect. But, yeah, the reason why is because I do things in a certain way. You know, I don't involve myself around negative energy and feed into negative energy. You know, I shake myself of all of that because, like the old saying, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense, y'all. You know what I mean? And that's the same thing. And it's not just about the physical of money. It's about the physical of thinking. If it's not making sense, why would you involve yourself in an idea or a situation that doesn't make sense?
A lot of people don't even have the courage of a baby. You and I with kids, you remember when your kid first started walking or trying to walk, he was fearless.
Right.
He was going to make those steps. He was going to get to that table. He was going to walk to you by all costs.
Right.
And I think the reason why you are successful is because you are not scared to step outside of the norm. See,
Exactly.
you don't have any fear about moving forward. A lot of people have fear about moving forward because uh, it's the same thing like they say with faith. A lot of people have trouble having faith and believing in things because they don't know the outcome.
Right.
Sometimes you got to get on the road and just drive.
Yeah, you do.
Pretty soon you're going to wind up at your destination.
Exactly.
Second of all, what are your goals? You got to have goals outside this square that you put yourself in. It's almost like you went in the cell and locked yourself in there and said, I don't need to go anywhere else. Everything I need is right here. No, everything you need is not right here.
Exactly.
What you need may be down the street and around a couple of blocks.
Exactly. And I'm glad you brought that up with the baby, because the baby, the child, is truth. They're going to speak the truth regardless. Like you say, they're fearless, and they have no shame of doing anything. So they're going to do what they're supposed to do to get to where they need to go in order to grow. And I was watching a movie today, and I forget the name of it, but it was Kevin Costner and a few other people, known celebrities and actresses. But he had a crop. He was a farmer, and he was hearing voices. He was hearing voices and having dreams that came to a vision. So he got up. It was him and his daughter and his wife. He got up. He jumped in the plow, and he plowed like 2 or 3% of his acres.
Okay.
So he made a baseball field.
Okay.
So his dad always wanted to be a baseball player.
Okay.
So he was getting these visions and hearing
Fields
his
of
voices.
Dreams.
Fields of Dreams. That's the movie, y'all. Check it out. That shit is hot. And it's an old movie. But yeah, he plowed and he made the baseball field. And the only people can see the players was him, his daughter, and the wife. And the wife's brother, he was a realtor. So he was trying to get them to sell the house because he took all his money and invested it in his baseball field.
Okay.
But him, the daughter, and the wife only had the vision and seen the players. So he brought all this into fruition because everybody that passed away, they didn't finish out their vision. So it was meant for him to build that so they can come back and play on that field.
And it's funny that you say that. You say, he was a farmer, and he had this
And we
field.
talked about that.
Yeah, and he had this field. It takes me to something in the Bible where God said that a man, he has a harvest and it yields much.
Mm-hmm.
But when he go to harvest it, it brings in little.
Mm-hmm.
So if you thinking inside the box, then you can only achieve what's inside the box.
Mm-hmm.
You can't achieve. It looks like it's a lot because it's inside of what you are used to or what you think is like you were saying. Only him, his daughter, and his wife could see the vision.
Right.
In other words, a person inside the box has no vision.
Exactly.
So he can't see anything beyond what he's already seeing. And that's what caused him to fail in business, fail in relationships, and just fail in life in general.
Right.
It's because he has no vision.
Right. And at the end of the movie, all of the spirits, the angels, they were telling him because, like I said, the wife's brother, he was trying to get him to buy. So he was on the way back to Ohio, and they picked up a player, but he was already dead. Okay. So when he picked the player up, he jumped in the car. He tells him his name, and both of them looked at each other like, "Okay, this is him." So this is reality. It's coming to reality. So, long story short, they get to the field, and the wife's brother and the husband, they got into an argument, and the daughter was telling her father that people was going to come and watch the game, but the brother hasn't seen the vision. He like, what game? What people? So she keeps saying this like people are going to come, and they got into an altercation. The brother grabs his niece and he picks her up and says, "What are you talking about?" And the daddy jumps up and he tries to go grab her, and she slips out the uncle's hand and falls. So the player that they picked up, he was a doctor. Once he got old, he became a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a barrier of rocks. If they passed it, then they couldn't go back to the day where they were younger playing the game of baseball.
Okay.
But once he came out and he passed the line, he came into his natural form of being a doctor. And he hit her on the back. He said, "Oh, well, she was just choking off the piece of the hot dog." So he passed her on the back. She spits it up. But he made that change because if he wouldn't have stepped out the box, the little girl would have died.
Because the doctor wouldn't have been there to save him.
Exactly, because he was still in the youth age of playing baseball. But
Wow.
he was still able to go back once he transformed into the doctor. He was still able to go back across the field. But now, the uncle seen the vision. He said, "Where did all these players come from?"
And all the players came because the person had a vision, and the vision came to tuition. See, you know, you hear people a lot of times, you know, you see rappers and singers and actors, and they say, follow your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, your dreams follow you because your dream can only be realized based on how far you go.
Exactly.
Because I can have a dream to be something, but I could sit right here where I'm sitting, and that dream could never be realized. Mm-hmm. Why? Because there's nothing for me. I am not doing anything, so there's nothing for my dream to follow. The dream is the end part of the following because at the end of your dream is your reality. That's why those people are on stage and they've been successful, but they don't understand that if you wouldn't have did anything, then that dream would have stayed right where it was at in your mind.
Exactly.
And it would have been set in your mind that I want to be this, but I ain't doing anything to make it happen.
Exactly.
And so when you was just telling me about the baseball thing and how now the uncle can see the dream, why? Because the people who could see the vision or who had the vision allowed it to become to reality. And now the uncle sees what they've been seeing the whole time. That's what holds people back. People become stubborn, or they become jealous, or they become envy of a person because the person is moving forward. Things are happening, and they don't know why. They always say, "Man, how you do that?" You see people say, "Man, how you successful, Deets?" Why? Because Deets is not just having an idea in his mind; he is working and speaking that in his mind into existence. So now it manifests itself into something real.
And at the end, he was getting another message to where it was saying, ease his pain. So he was trying to figure out, like, whose pain am I going to ease?
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, go back to where I said his dad had a dream of being in Major League Baseball. So at the end, one of the baseball players said he's going to come. So when he looked, his dad was there. So the dad walked up. He didn't introduce, the granddaughter and his wife. So once the dad was leaving, because he asked me, he said, "Is this heaven?" And he said, "No, this is Idaho." So he turns to go leave, and then he says, "Dad, do you mind if we play catch?" And he said, "Yeah, I love that." But before they started throwing the ball, he looked around and he said, "I guess this is heaven."
See? You see that? He said, "Is this heaven?" He said, "No, Dad, this is Idaho."
Exactly.
Right? But he said, "I guess this is heaven."
Exactly.
See, everybody thinks everything is right here.
Right.
In the book of Isaiah, God says, I will go ahead of you and I will level the mountains and break down the gates and the bronze and he said, and the bronze and out through the bars of iron. He's saying, I'm gonna go ahead. So that means that inside your box, if God said, I'm gonna stay right here with you, he said, I'm gonna go ahead. If he said, I'm gonna stay right here in this box with you, he could never level the mountains in front of you.
Exactly.
That's keeping you from being successful. Those walls can never be knocked down because you can never realize it.
Exactly.
You can never realize whatever it is your vision or your dream is, you can't see it because you have blinders on. It's just like if you cover your eyes. If you cover your eyes and try to navigate through a place in which you have never been before, you're gonna bump into everything. You're gonna have cuts and bruises and all of that.
Right.
But your future is something that you don't know. You have no idea of what's in front of you until you start the journey on the road to the future. But first, you got to unlock all the locks on the door to the box, step outside the box, and leave the box. Because the box is where you're past that. Your future is beyond that box. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, is that they don't understand the future is beyond where you at now. There's no way that you would have been doing what you're doing as a profession if you would have thought, well, all I need to do is cut hairs.
Exactly.
That's all I need to do is cut hair. I'm cool. I got me a trade. I know what I'm doing. That's all I need to do. I don't need to do anything else. This podcast would have never come to fruition if you would have just stayed in a barbershop, laughing and barbershop talking and all that, and never followed the vision that you had while you was cutting hairs. See, this didn't just come about. You had an idea.
Exactly.
And you moved on it.
Exactly.
Now, if you would have just kept driving in your car or sitting at home reminiscing about this, it would never been a reality.
Right.
Because you would have just been in the box of a podcast and not having a podcast, because the podcast could never become reality because you was afraid to take the steps that it needed to get there. See, this didn't just only take an idea. It took finances.
Yes.
So you had to take a risk. You had to buy equipment. You had to do things. So there was some risk involved. But listen, the success outweighed the risk.
Exactly.
And that's how you got to look at it. If you start thinking about what you got to do to make it happen, it'll never happen, because a natural thing about a human being is to procrastinate.
Yep, and I did an audiobook on procrastinate, but what really made me set this off is just getting all types of information and everybody coming to me like, oh, Deeks, man, this and that, and man, I'm going through this and that. Oh, man, this cat did this, man. And so I said, okay, let me go and crack this shit off then. You know, if y'all can talk about it to me, let's talk about it to the people, you know. But like we're saying, they're still scared to where, oh, I don't want my life to be shown, and, you know, I don't want people to know this and that. But it's like, okay, you're calling somebody and you're telling somebody this, so it's like, let's let this be known. You know what I mean? Like, let's put it out there. It's not like we're blasting people out there. It's like, oh man, forget you and F you and all this. No, we letting shit be known. You know what I mean? Like, let's get it out there. I know for a fact, once you start letting people know how you feel, then it's a different reaction. You know what I'm saying? It's a way different reaction. You know, I got cats I talk to, like I say, you know, they tell me this, they tell me that, they're going through things. I'm like, what we just say, you got to change your mindset, man. Get out the box. The world is not square. The world is round. It's big. You're not going to fall off. And if you fall off, and it's on the move. Constantly.
It rotates
24/7, 365 degrees.
every day. It's rolling. See, when you standing still, where can you go? Where do you go standing still?
Right.
If you just stood inside your living room, you would never make it to work. You would never make it to a doctor's appointment. You would never make it to a date.
None of that.
Nothing would never happen if you was just standing still.
None of
And
that.
that's what people don't understand is that I've never seen anyone achieve anything by just standing still.
You're not going to achieve nothing standing still, because if you stand still, the world is going to be moving so fast. Like my brother, you know, he stopped smoking weed, he doing this thing, you know, he in Arizona, you know, he's doing real good for himself, and I'm proud of him, man, you know what I mean? But he like, man, I listen to you, I'm finally listening to you and taking your advice, and I said, now you see, I say, shit is moving fast, ain't it? Because whether you're standing still, when you're smoking weed, don't get me wrong, I used to do it, smoke you under the table.
We all did.
Did. But it comes to a point to where it's like, okay, I gotta take a break from that because shit is moving fast. And he realized that now, like, damn, he really respect the game of a person that's working now. Because see, when you was getting that fast money, you wasn't thinking about consequences and none of that. And see, it was actually fun. Because see, you wasn't in the box. You were adventuring like the baby. You were adventuring. You were taking risks. You were going for what, like, fuck it. You know what I mean? But now you respect the game to where it's like, okay, this dude doesn't go to work every day. He got this going on. Just because a person goes to work and have a 9 to 5, it's not meaning that they're stuck in a box. The only reason that they're stuck in a box is because they go to work, they work at 9 to 5, come home, go to sleep. Repetitive. It's a repetitive and repeated movement. So it's like, okay, you're doing that, but now what are you doing to progress? To you know what I mean? To move on in life. And you know, because there's so many avenues and ventures we can do. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go back to the baby when he gets up and he starts walking.
Mm-hmm.
When you step back from him and say, come to you, he's coming to you because of the fact that he sees you and there's something that he's trying to achieve.
Exactly.
And that's to get to you.
Exactly.
Without falling.
Exactly.
But see, the thing is when he falls, guess what he does?
He gets back up.
But people don't understand that when a roadblock comes, you got to go around it or over it in order to continue your journey. If you get to the roadblock and you say to yourself, okay, this is it. I tried. It didn't work. I'm going to go back to what I was doing.
How would you say? Knock that shit down.
You fail, though, when you say that. When you say, well, I guess, you know, I should have just kept doing what I was doing.
Exactly.
It was working for me.
Exactly.
Well, now you're back in that box.
Exactly.
Oh, that's all I can do. I can't do nothing else. I tried everything. You ain't tried anything. You tried what you was comfortable with.
Exactly.
See, being content, when you get content with certain things, you start, that's where you're gonna be. You're gonna be right there in what makes you content. Whatever it is, because you don't desire anything else except for that, because you look at that as that was working. No, it wasn't working. What it was doing was pacifying you, because it was your mindset, and your mind was tricking you and telling you that it's okay to be right here. See, people say these things. See, I don't have to have a lot of money, and I don't have to have. No, it ain't that you have to have a lot of money. It ain't about having a lot of money. It's about having success. It's about realizing your future, having your future manifest itself.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because that's what I want to say. Is like, everybody is supposed to be rich. See, people got their mindset stuck to where, oh, I'm not supposed to be rich, and you know, all the money, you know, the billionaires getting it, oh, it's not enough for me. I want people to think of an unlimited supply. Think of an unlimited supply of wealth, generational wealth. And because people have to get out of that, I'm not going to be rich. And like you just said, it's not being rich just about the money. It's being rich in wisdom, knowledge.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
And
right there.
Of course, we have to have money in order to do what we want to do. If you're going to set yourself and set your mindset and your standards so low, how can God use you?
He can't.
Exactly. So this is what I want people to start thinking, because in order to be used by the higher power, you have to have the riches. You have to have the platforms and things.
And you have to give up yourself. See,
you have to.
I was looking the other day about the young rich ruler
Mhm.
who came to Jesus and said he wanted to go to this kingdom
Mhm.
that he'd been hearing about. And I wondered why Jesus told him that a rich man would never inherit the kingdom. And I always understood. I was trying to understand that because I was saying there's a lot of people who believe in Christ, and that is the way, right?
Right.
They're not going to make it to the kingdom.
Right.
And when Jesus told him that, he walked away sad.
Mhm.
And I said, I wonder why he said that, because I wanted to know why he wasn't going to make it. You know why? You know what I figured out? What the Bible revealed to me is that he did not want to give up or to let go his wealth. Because Jesus, I missed that part reading. He said, give up all of your wealth and live poor, and then come back to me. And that's how you're going to make it to the. See, a lot of people think poor means to be without. You see what I'm saying? And he left sad. And so to bring that up to what we're talking about, a lot of people don't want to come outside the box because they don't want to divorce or to break up with that mindset that they have.
Mhm.
They don't want to do that. And so they stay married to those things, and those things those things become like an anchor or Advil. You remember we used to watch Road Runner,
Right.
and the dude was always trying to drop these big anvils
Right.
on the Road Runner.
Right.
That's what happens to you when you don't want to divorce the mindset that you've been carrying on for 10 and 15 and 20 years.
Right.
If you don't divorce that, or if you don't separate from that, then what's left?
People just have to get out the mindset to where, and then we have to encourage a lot of people too. Like people ask me, oh man, that guy asked you for $1. And I tell people all the time, keep it 100. I don't give nobody no money. Yes. What you're supposed to do is encourage them and inspire them, because you never knew what that person went through. That person could have been rich. That person could have been real wealthy. Everybody just make the wrong choices, and like Jonathan just said, they get stuck in that box to where, oh, that worked and this and that, and you never know what God was trying to take you to and get you there. You know what I mean? So
What you said, no, I don't give people money. Now a lot of people will say, oh man, it's time people gave you things and try to make you feel bad about that. But here's the problem. When we give those people money, we enable them. You don't give him any incentive to do anything different, because why? Because he asked for $1, he received $1.
Exactly.
Why should he want anything more when all he got to do is stand out and beg and get what he wants?
So what you were supposed to do is encourage him, inspire him to get back to what he was doing. Go hustle and work for the $1.
Hey, brother, I know you was doing something before you got here.
Exactly.
Why don't you go back to what you was doing, and then you don't have to be standing out here asking me, the next man that come, or anybody else for anything. People don't understand that we enable people sometimes, and we help people stay in their situation, because guess what we do? When they come to us about it, it's easier when they come to us and we give it to them. That was easy.
That was easy.
Why should I do anything else, or why should I try anything else when all I got to do is go say, hey, Deets, you get $5.
Exactly.
Or can you buy me a hamburger?
Exactly.
But people will try to criticize you for saying I don't give people money. A lot of people don't give people money. One day I gave a person something. The person said thank you. I said you're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Later on that night I was studying, and I found out that God says when you give someone something, give it to them that they may thank me, and that I may be glorified. So if I'm not giving to glorify God, why am I giving?
Exactly.
Why am I doing it? Because I'm enabling this person to sit there, and they always use it. Thank you, brother. God bless you. No, it ain't no God. You weren't thinking about God. You're thinking about that $1. So if you want to get high, whether you want to get a beer or whatever you want to get, you have accomplished what you was trying to accomplish. And guess who helped you get there? I didn't give you no words of wisdom.
None.
I didn't tell you. I didn't encourage you.
Right.
I didn't uplift you.
Yeah.
I didn't edify you in any kind of way. I fed you just what you expected to get, and that was that $1. And now you're going to go out and do whatever you do with all the dollars you done collected you're going to go out and do what it is that you were going to do when you reached a certain amount.
Exactly.
And I helped you do that.
Exactly.
You didn't get better, because guess what?
Yeah.
When I come back, you're going to be still there,
Yeah.
asking for dollars, or you're going to be at the next store that I'm at, down the street, around the corner,
Yeah.
maybe even 5 blocks from where we was at. You're going to be at some gas station, some in front of some restaurant or some place doing the exact same thing, and there are going to be other people that's gonna give you what you want, and then you're going to get what you want, because why? Inside this box, I'm getting dollars.
Exactly. But we keeping them in the mindset. So we about to get y'all to get out the box, man. When somebody comes to you and asks you for things, and get them out the box, because you're keeping them inside the box. Let's do more encouragement. Let's give more wisdom, guidance, and knowledge, y'all. We're gonna get y'all out this box, man. You know what I'm saying?
Free yourself.
Free yourself, man. So you heard it. Young Dee's the Great Podcast Show with Jonathan Brown, man. And this game about with these jewels, man. So y'all be on the lookout for this one.